What's up, everybody? It is Matt Modi with OddsJam, and for this video, just doing a national title game, Kansas versus UNC. A little bit of a Freudian slip there. So both teams come in this game. We like to call it the Roy Williams Bowl because obviously Roy coached at both teams, most recently with North Carolina, but looking at this matchup, I think it's going to be, just a great game. Kansas, as you can see, favored here, minus 180, the best odds you can get on them. Carolina, you can get plus 170 on Caesars in WinBet. Looks like the OddsJam perfect line pricing, Kansas money line at minus 186, UNC at plus 163, but just got a really great game on our hands. So we'll start with Kansas as they are the 1 seed. Kind of interesting, they find themselves in the national championship game with a little bit of a lower profile run. I feel like there hasn't been as much talk about Kansas because just there's been so many other crazy storylines in this tournament. Obviously, Duke, UNC is the headliner, but we had Gonzaga losing, again, falling short. We had the first 15 seed ever to make it to the Elite Eight. We had defending champion Baylor lose in the second round. We just had a lot of storylines that Kansas kind of fell under the radar, which is kind of interesting because they're the 1 seed and they're in the finals. But looking at their team, just an awesome team, led by Senior Agbaji, who had a great game against Villanova. He couldn't miss. Remy Martin has really taken a step up recently as well. And then they're also led by big man David McCormick, who finally looks healthy. He kind of struggled with injuries this year. Didn't quite look healthy even as soon as last week, but looked really good against Villanova. And Villanova really just had no answer for them. The one thing I'll say about the Kansas run, and I would imagine part of the reason why it's a little bit under the radar, is just because they haven't really had their level of competition hasn't been nearly as good as UNC's as far as the teams they've beaten, and they also really haven't been tested in a close game as well. Probably the closest game they played in was against Creighton in the second round, but that game never really felt like it was that close. Even though Creighton made it a 1-point game with like maybe around less than 2 minutes left, Kansas immediately responded with a 6-0 run, and that game was never really in doubt. Providence, kind of similar. Kansas was up big at halftime, up big pretty much the whole first half. Providence made a little bit of a run in the second half, made it a close, but Kansas was always pretty much in control, and the game was never really in doubt. Then in the Elite Eight against Miami, they were obviously down at halftime, and then just went on an insane run, won that game by 26. And then in the Final Four against Villanova, crazy hot shooting start in the first half from them. Slowed down a little bit towards the end of the first half in the beginning, but at the beginning of the second half, right back, hot shooting again. And it never really felt like the closest that game got. Villanova, I think, got it to 6 points at one time, but then Kansas immediately got it back up to double digits. So that game was never really close. So Kansas, their level, Villanova is obviously the best team they played, but they're missing Justin Moore, their best defender. And you could just tell that Kansas team just couldn't quite keep up, or Villanova couldn't quite keep up with Kansas. So that's part of the reason I would say that their run has been diminished a little bit just because of their level of competition, and also they haven't really had a close game. Whereas you look at UNC, the teams they've beaten, just in a crazy run to the championship. Obviously, they beat the 15 seed in the Elite Eight, which was a little bit of a break for them, especially, St. Peter's taking out both Kansas and Purdue, or Kentucky and Purdue, and the other side of their bracket, of their region. But they survived a 25-point blown lead against Baylor, won in overtime, with Brady Manick getting kicked out of that game after putting up 26 points before he got kicked out. Then they played Final Four contestant and legitimate championship contender UCLA in the next round. Huge shots from Caleb Love got them the victory there. Then they absolutely blew out St. Peter's. And then Duke, just the most epic game of college basketball history. In terms of the stakes, as far as Coach K's final game, Duke-UNC rivalry, and then just the game itself was so good. The largest lead of the game, Duke got up by 7 at the beginning of the second half, and then immediately UNC went on an 11-0 run. 3 straight threes plus a layup. They're just the UNC team. They're not have the high-end talent that Kansas does in terms of Agbaji. Kansas probably has the best scorer in the game, but the thing with Carolina is they're resilient. It looked like there were multiple times where Duke was going to come away with and just run away with that game. UNC just came up with big shot after big shot, whether it was Caleb Love, Brady Manick. RJ Davis had a great start, kind of kept UNC in that game after UNC had a slow start. But what I love about UNC is they have multiple ways they can beat you. They can have one of Brady Manick, RJ Davis, or Caleb Love go off. Leaky Black is their best defender, and they also have Bacot down low, who put up, 24 rebounds in the Final Four game, so just insane. So this Carolina team, they're not quite as deep as Kansas, but I would say their top 5 is a little bit better, but obviously the higher end talent Kansas has. And I think David McCormick, as big as he was against Villanova, I think he's going to be just as big against UNC, and it's really going to depend on if Bacot can keep up with him or not. So looking at this game, I'll go ahead and skip the money line for now, and I'll start with the total. I'm not surprised to see the total all the way at 152. Kansas, they started the game shooting 70% from 3. Then they slowed down a little bit, missed 4 straight. Then they went right back on their hot shooting streak. Whereas UNC kind of had the opposite, where they started slow. Caleb Love missed his first couple shots. They made their first 3, then missed 4 or 5 in a row, then finally caught their stroke. So I'm not surprised to see the over-under this high. If I had to guess, I'd probably take the over, but that's not going to be an official play because I could see this being a game where Kansas kind of regresses to the mean and doesn't shoot nearly as well as they did against Villanova. And then on the UNC side, I can see there being, I don't think they're going to have a letdown game, but maybe kind of what happened in the Duke game, maybe a letdown like first couple minutes. So obviously they ended up weathering that storm and putting up a ton of points. So that's why I'm not super confident on this total, but if I had to guess, I'll take the over. As far as the point spread goes, UNC is about 4 or 4.5 point favorites. I love the spread here, especially getting it. If you can get it on WinBet at -110, every other book has it at, as you can see, at 4. The OddsJam Perfect Line also prices it at 4, so I like getting that extra half point on WinBet. But my official pick for this game, if you couldn't tell, I am taking North Carolina money line. You can get it at +170 on Caesars and WinBet. I ended up taking it on WinBet, as you can see on the screenshot here. I put $200 on this. I just think North Carolina, they're battle tested. I don't buy the argument of them having a letdown game because that would have already happened against, after beating Coach K in his final home game, after beating the national championship Baylor, after beating UCLA in that crazy game. And then I just think that they're well coached. Hubert Davis has really come in his own. They're balanced. I like that they have multiple ways that they can beat you, and I just think that they're going to continue the run. So as good as Kansas is, I wouldn't be surprised if they won, but I love the value of getting UNC at +170. So that's what I hit. That's my official bet. So let me know what you thought. One thing I want to highlight is I did add it to my bet tracker. That's what this little screenshot here is. This is something that OddsJam offers for free. You don't need to put down a card or anything like that. Just go to oddsjam.com, use the bet tracker. I also like the partner program that OddsJam offers. If you look at the links in the description, you can sign up for that. It's the easiest side hustle in the world. All you have to do is just sign up using that link. We like to call it the easiest side hustle because hopefully you've been cashing with us, and if you have, you can refer us to your friends. If you haven't been cashing with us, then sign up for our email list, get those 3 free bets a day, sign up for the 7-day free trial, then you'll start cashing with us. But if you have, you refer us to your friends. Every time, if you refer your friends to OddsJam, every time they make a payment to OddsJam, you get paid. So again, it's the easiest side hustle ever. You can join the OddsJam team, you can cash with us. But as far as this video goes, that's all I got for you. So thanks for watching, and have a good one.